So I was just telling that it would be nice if we could read Daniel 5. I'm not sure if all of us were able to pay attention to that. Did we know that, right? Daniel 5 was about Belshazzar, the human writing on the wall. You remember that, right? So can someone tell me what was very prominent in that? I'm sorry, it's going to be quite interactive, okay? Based on, according to you, okay, first of all, it's a book of Daniel, so obviously, but what was it about, according to, just in 2 words, we'll make it very quick. Yeah, this was the one where a human, they had some party and then suddenly they had a, like the King Belshazzar, he was having a party, he decided to take some goblets from the table, from the temple, brought it for, for partying with his party people. Very much the lifestyle in our current generation, right? So, part of the partying, suddenly something happens and then what he sees is like a human hand writing on the wall, right? So, and then something happens and then Daniel steps in and he explains what the writing is. This is what we know, okay? Now my question to you is, according to you, in this story, who is the prominent person here? Come on, God. Okay. But God didn't come and explain it, okay? God did something, but in terms of humans, let's talk in terms of humans. Which human, according to you, is prominent over here?
Daniel.
Of course, it's the book of Daniel. Yeah, it has to be Daniel, right? Does anyone know that there were other people who played a role in it? Belshazzar, yeah, of course, yes, right. He's one person. Anyone else have any idea? What is the other roles played by a few other people in the book? We read it. It's a king, so king will have kings.
Yeah.
Queen, correct, okay. Then king will also have a bunch of people who will advise. They're called as the royal advisors. So if you read through that, there is actually the King Belshazzar. They mention about the royal advisors. They mention about somebody called as the Queen Mother. And after all of this is when Daniel steps in. Okay, now I'll tell you what is the prominence in all of this. Now what happened to King Belshazzar? It says that as soon as he saw a human hand that appeared, okay, this is verse 5, okay, and he turned pale and was so frightened that his knees began to shake, and he shouted for someone to bring in the magicians, wizards, and astrologers. Does this situation sound familiar in our lives? When something happens and suddenly we go all panicky and frightened and stressed. Yeah? Is this something that we go through on a daily basis? Or we've never gone through it, because all of us seem sitting here like, all tightened up. Come on. It's a reality, right? Do we all have physical ailments here? We do. We don't have a doubt in that. If I ask, do we have mental ailments? Okay. Like?
Anxiety.
That's right. And?
Stress.
Stress, exactly. Okay, so this is similar to King Belshazzar, right? He was having a very fun time, and then suddenly something happens according to him, and then he goes all frantic and pale, right? So he calls up all the wizards, and it says in verse 8, the royal advisors came forward, but none of them could read the writing or tell the king what it meant. Do we have like this royal advisors? Are we ourselves those royal advisors?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so there's a reason why I'm bringing this up, okay? So he called the royal advisors, they were not able to give him a solution. Maybe they worsened up the situation, right? And then it goes on to say, in his distress, obviously because plan backfired, in his distress, King Belshazzar grew even paler and his noblemen had no idea what to do. Sounds very familiar? We go for advice to people, they either assume they're helping us, but it just worsens up the whole situation. Or if it's us, being the royal advisors, someone comes to us with a problem and we assume we're helping them, but somehow it just turns out to be the other way around. Especially with our kids. Very familiar? Okay. Now what do you think what happens? Now this is the best part of it. There is a verse 10. It says, the Queen Mother heard the noise made by the king and his noblemen and entered the hall. She said, may your majesty live forever. Please do not be so disturbed and look so pale. There is a man in your kingdom who has the spirit of the holy gods in him. So that is the introduction of Daniel. Has any one of us ever imagined or even realized that the story was not just about a Daniel, it was about a queen mother too. when we read the books from the Bible or when we read the chapters in the Bible, we need to read through it and ask the Holy Spirit to speak to us. Okay. Now, what was so beautiful about Daniel? What do you think? Why was Daniel so special? He was brought in as a slave, we know that, right? And yet somehow wherever he was placed, with whichever king he was placed, he just excelled there. What do you think is the reason for that? Can we say it louder? Exactly. Okay. So that means when you have the indwelling of God within yourself, you can also be a Daniel. Right? This is what I'm trying to get at. And what about the Queen Mother? She saved the whole panicky situation. She didn't even resolve it. All she did was refer to a person called Daniel. So sometimes when we're faced with situations in our life, we always back out. We say that, oh my God, I don't think I have the full solution in me. I don't think I have the confidence in me. Or it will be like, no, I don't even act for it. Right? But what did the Queen Mother do? She didn't provide the entire solution. She only said, you know what? And she didn't even go and say, like, I know it all. See, that's what the royal advisors did. They very smartly went and they provided solutions, but that backfired. Right? But with the Queen Mother, she knew her limitations. She knew where her surroundings are. All she did is, you may not have heard, but I know about a person called Daniel. He can provide a solution for you. In the world that we are in today, in the church that we are in today, in the family that we are with today, in our community, can we please step up to be a Queen Mother? This is the question I want to put before each one of us. If we have failed to be a royal advisor, if we have failed to understand or be a Daniel, let's not fall short of it. There is another job opportunity to be a Queen Mother. And it is something that we need to take it very seriously. What happened when Daniel stepped in? Anyone? In the story, what happens when Daniel steps in? Queen Mother says there's a Daniel, Daniel walks in, and then what happens? Are we reading? What does Daniel do when he comes in? For those of you who are reading, I will wait. The heading of verse 13 for the Good News version of the Bible, or the heading says there, it's written as Daniel explains the writing. So he goes on to explain the writing, right? And when he explains the writing, what happens? He goes on to say that, you know what, king, your father was like you once, but God brought him to his knees, and the king, that is his father, humbled himself down and he was safe. But the same was given to you, but you have decided not to humble yourself down, so your days are numbered. And then, that's the end. That following night, King Belshazzar dies and a new king rises. Okay, so we are seeing a complete change in the kingdom. We're seeing a complete change. See, you and me could have been maybe some people who are being oppressed by King Belshazzar in our lives. Partying, lifestyle, culture change, these are all something we adapt to as Indians when we come to a foreign country. But do not stop your role as a Queen Mother. This is what I'm getting at. Just because you see that the kingdom is all into something that you cannot adapt yourself to, if you feel the same is applicable for your kids, and if you feel you are not capable enough, or you feel you can't be a Daniel, do not stop at that. Rise up to be a Queen Mother. What does a Queen Mother do? She doesn't just look about herself. She doesn't look into just the well-being of her life and her people around her. No. We need to step out. We need to look. See, we all are, at least most of us are employed, working. We meet up with people on a day-to-day basis. How are you helping the person that you meet at your workplace, at your community? Are we really, actually giving it a thought? If you see a King Belshazzar, that is someone who's going through a pale situation, a frightened situation, are we taking the time and telling, hey, are you okay? See, the culture right now is simple. Mind your business, do your work, your family is safe, you're good to go. But what happens is our youngsters are looking at us the same way. Tomorrow, if something, let's say our kids are growing up and then they are going to another country or another university, we can't always babysit them, right? In fact, we can never do it. We can't take care of them the way they are when they are around us. If something, God forbid, if something happens to them and then they call you up and say, you know what, someone just helped us out now and now we are fine. It could be a small accident, something, Would you be thankful then? You will be, right? You'll be like, oh, thank God, whoever that person was, God sent that person to help our son So what if it's the other way around? Something happened to someone else, and then your child calls up and tells, Mom, you know what, this is what happened, but I was able to help. Won't you feel proud? Now, where are our kids supposed to learn this from? They're not going to learn this from school. They're not going to learn it from the world that we are in. And the only influence right now is social media. And we have actually given up, to be very honest. We think we're too old. This is the era, this is the kingdom. That's the kingdom of Belshazzar. They were partying. Who would have thought that night the party would be done with? See, God has his plans, he has his reasons. He has a reason why he placed a queen mother in King Belshazzar's kingdom. So each one of y'all have a role to play. This is what I'm getting at. Tomorrow when y'all meet, take the time. Take 2 minutes of your time. It is okay. Take 2 minutes of your time. Just go off to someone and say, are you okay? If you feel they're not okay. They might not open up, but deep down they will feel it. That, you know what? Yeah, someone does care. See, this is the attitude we need to bring out so that our kids learn from our actions. Talking doesn't help. Right now, influence is the only way. The way we can influence our coming generations is only by our actions. So I'm not going to go on lecturing or nothing of that sort. My humble request is just simple. Can we rise up to be a queen mother? Just be observant. Situations are plentiful. It's just that we are choosing to close our eyes. Is there anyone over here who doesn't have a personal problem? The answer is no. But is there anyone over here who's taking the time to go to the other person and saying, let me sit with you for 5 minutes. Is everything okay with you? It makes a lot of difference. Again, Queen Mother did the first step. The rest God took care of. So the same, each one of us, if you're placed in this community, if you're placed in this church as mothers, as queens, you're qualified, you're experienced, use it for the right purpose. Let us bring a change to the community that we are in. Let's not go about with, oh my God, oh this is how it is, oh this is not going to change, I have lost it, I don't think I can do it. No. Imagine if all of us were stepping here, if we just make up our mind from the time we step out, you know what, I'm going to be more observant. I'm going to see if someone is going through something. Just go and talk to them. You don't have to do anything. Right now what this world needs is a listening ear. Can you be that? You don't have to solve anybody's problems. Just be a listening ear, that is all. And our kids, our generations are going to see that. They're going to see us as the examples. So please do not give up on ourselves, on our capacity, on our capability. The Queen Mother is not mentioned anywhere else in the book of Daniel. This was her one role, and it was a magnificent role. When you read the Bible, we ignore it. It just comes as part of another story. Yeah, the Queen Mother, then she said, and then our focus is only on the major characters, but we don't understand there were so many other people who paved the way for that. So my question to you is, would you please rise up for it? Would you please recognize that you have the capability, you have the capacity? All that takes is a willing heart, nothing else. It doesn't matter whether you're young, you're old, let's not give all that a limit. Let's not limit ourselves, because God is not limited, right? And we say we are in church, we're in His divine presence. And we say that we believe in such a God like that. All He asks is, can you be a Queen Mother today? Okay, and not a royal advisor, please. Okay, royal advisors, they assume they're doing, but they do not use God's help. Queen Mother does it with God's help. And may you all rise up to be Daniels as well. Or may your kids rise up to be Daniels when you be the Queen Mothers. We can do it if we can all just believe we can do it. And for all the King Belshazzars who are going through an issue, okay, I'm here if you wish to talk to me, But if you feel you're comfortable with someone else, please take the time, because we all need to start caring for each other. It cannot be superficial anymore. It cannot be just about, everybody comes with a smile. The honest fact is, I don't think many are actually happy. But we are all trained to put on a smile because the society will think ill about us. And this is the problem now. Our kids are doing the same thing, they're faking it all up. And then we ask them, why are you faking? Why are you doing this? Can't you do? But where are they seeing it from? If we have a family that says, you're sad, tell it to us, let's solve it. You see the outlook even they will have? Let's not limit ourselves. Let's get back to talking. Let's get back to, instilling in our human values, our values, to our people, to our community. Let's give back to the society what we have gained. Okay? So please, my humble request again is please, let's all rise up to be Queen Mothers and not royal advisors, please. Thank you.
Thank you.